Boom. And just like that, he was live. So, good evening, wherever you're watching this. Not often I do a Friday stream, but I kind of needed to do one basically because I've been watching a lot of political coverage of the local council elections in England, Scotland, and Wales, and the assembly elections here in Northern Ireland. Oh, yeah, I've been watching the mainstream media and I need to have my say because I'm bored senseless with the same cliched claptrap from the same individuals who make their little living from trotting in and out of TV studios to give their esteemed analysis. You'll excuse me if I don't rate them, but I don't. Hi, Chris Davies, our good friend, John Ferguson. Good to see you. A rainy Accrington. Could that rain be conservative tears, Chris Davies? This is what we have to ask. We've got lots of questions we have to deal with. We have to deal with, the big question. But before we get that, if you do enjoy the content, buy me a coffee, link below. There you go. Buy me a coffee using that link. Or if you prefer the lovely donor box, we've been deplatformed, as you know, been deplatformed by Patreon, by kofi.com, but we're still back. Hello, James. Good to see you as well on the stream as well. So look, I want to just get into the meat of this one because there's so much garbage being spoken that somebody has to speak up. And I intend, hi, John Saunderson, good to see you. And I intend to, at least talk about a few things. I'm going to divide it into two parts. I think we've got the English Council results. I think we'll start with them, shall we? And then we're going to talk about Scottish election results. And then I want to talk about the Northern Ireland results because that's the one that's riled me the most, actually. So we'll start off with England. I'll work myself up into a paroxysm of anger and annoyance, and then that'll get the whole thing done. So hopefully that's okay. If you do enjoy this, hit the heart button, hit the share button, hit whatever button you want, right? Okay, let's go to our first of all, before we bring anything up on the screen, it's worth pointing out that the media were saying up until yesterday, last couple of days, in the English council elections, if the Conservatives lose, Richie Dupe says, is it a gingerbread or soy skinny latte? Okay, no soy here, Richie. We is not drinking soy, but lots of soy people around. Not for me. I was going to say a full-blooded coffee, but that might suggest an Adrenochrome coffee or something like that. Oh, gosh, no. We leave that for people like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and other such people, allegedly, to have those kind of coffees. John, I'm not going to talk about Beergate. That's why I wanted to do something totally different. Oh, right. Jed is missing his Formula One in Miami, which is a pretty exotic location to be with us. So we have to thank our friend Jed, my producer, for making this possible. Otherwise, I'd be hitting buttons and goodness knows what would happen. Right. The media said, if Boris loses 300 or more, it's a really, really bad result for the Conservatives. So let's bring up till we see what happened in the English Council results. Oops. And with 141 out of 146 council results in, the Tories have lost 320 seats. So take that, Boris Johnson. That's quite a repudiation. But the interesting thing is, look at the Labour result. They've only won 51 seats. That's a terrible result for Labour, even if not on the scale of the Conservatives. And if you look across the Liberal Democrats, there's the LDs. They have won 182 seats, council seats. Independents, you can see there's always independents standing in England. And actually the Green Party, look at the Greens. The Greens have won more seats than Labour. So actually, if you look at the whole thing across the piece, the biggest losers are the Conservatives, and then, relatively speaking, Labour. And the winners are the Liberal Democrats and the Greens. And I think if we scroll down, we can actually look to see what this means in terms of local councils. So you can see Labour have taken control of 5 more councils. So I'm sorry for those people living in those areas, because I think you're going to see a lot of diversity coming your way. Hi, Jason O'Brien. Good to see you, my friend, on the stream. Good to see you here. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of diversity in those council areas. The Tories have lost 10 councils. It's a significant number of councils, as well as the 320 councillors. So, yeah, we're going to talk, Chris Davies, about your point. You make a good one there. Lib Dems, they've won 3 votes, 3 councils, as you can see. They're up 3 councils, 182 councillors. And Independents, then, yeah, they're up 19. The Greens, though, they don't win any councils, but they have won 58 additional council seats. So, yes, Richie, diversity is our strength, and everyone who voted Labour is going to get that with bells on. But I mean, Chris makes a point here. Chris Davies makes a point on the stream that it's a protest vote, and this is a great point. Come the general election, Boris is a shoe-in. Sharma and Labour. Chris, this is you're talking about Sir. Have some respect, Sir Keir Starmer, the man of the hour, who's hailing this as a great victory. In fact, the only part of England that Labour made any significant inroads in was London. And as I've been saying for a long time, London is no longer essentially a British city. It's been conquered. It's just some people don't see it yet. Indeed, Richie, diversity is our strength. And when you have diversity in London, what happens is Labour win. Why do Labour win? Well, because thanks, Leslie, Leslina, you would vote David. Well, if enough people voted for me, I can tell you there'd be a lot of nonsense stopped. But Keith Starmer, how can you say that, Richie? You're insulting the man. So Labour have basically had made inroads. I mean, they've captured Wandsworth Council, haven't they? They've captured Barnet Council. These are conservative strongholds going back to the time of Maggie Thatcher. So they've captured those kind of councils, which are, they're pretty emblematic. Hello, Sharon Montgomery, my friend from County Down. Good to see you. And also hello to our Hawaiian friend, Donnie Girl. Donnie Girl, this is all about British elections, this one, because we've had elections here today. I needed to cover them. And happy aloha to you as well on this Friday. I know it's probably Friday morning with you, but here as we talk, the votes closed last night, and the results have been counted. In some cases overnight, in some cases all day today, and indeed tomorrow. So look, in England, back to England. Yes, Labour control London, but London's not is not demographically, in my opinion, a British, a recognisably British city. So that's not a surprise. But outside of London, the Labour Party did not make the inroads into the Red Wall, the so-called Red Wall. They didn't. Andy says the local council election's a big fat nothing burger. Well, it's a protest burger, isn't it? It's a protest burger, I think. Hello, John Mercer. Good to see you as well. Thanks to all of you YouTubers being here. And if there's anyone from Facebook, hello to all of you Facebook people, if there is. We have, for me, the issue here is, well, it's all very well, these council results. It's midterm. Yeah, but it is midterm, and you always get a midterm kind of the major party loses seats. But I think it's more than that. I do think that there's a general contempt for Boris Johnson. That's what I think, because Boris Johnson, he locked us down. He imposed all kinds of impositions of taking away our freedom and liberty. And so it is... Jim Mooney asked the question. Jim, I'm going to get to your question. We're going to cover Northern Ireland specifically because I want to. But I don't know. Boris is, not a vote winner anymore. Hello to my friend Leslie, all the way from Tennessee, USA. Good to see you, Leslie, on the stream. And as I say, we're talking about Matters UK today because we've had elections, and I wanted to cover them from my perspective at any rate. So I reckon that Johnson's unpopular, the Conservatives are unpopular, but Labour is equally unpopular. What might change it would be if you had someone like Andy Burnham, the Manchester mayor, taking over the Labour Party. That could change the game and make Labour more appealing outside of the metropolitan area of London. John Saunderson says these are not a barometer of a general election. No, they're not. No, they're not. But I did see the esteemed statistician, Sir John Curtis, on the BBC saying, if you took the percentage of the vote that Labour and the Conservatives won today and applied that in a general election, you'd end up with probably a minority Labour government, right? So that's what it would mean. So is that going to happen? Well, as you say, it's midterm, but that suggests that the Conservatives are going to recover. I'm not sure that. I'm not sure. Thank you so much. Super chats are available on the YouTubes to help me get more of my dinosaur juice, which I drink. When I call it dinosaur juice, this comes from the I think it's the Arizona desert. It's some healthy minerals, actually, believe it or not. So we'll have to watch to see what happens in England. Could Diane Abbott take over? That would be a wonder to behold. And I think, actually, seriously, Sir Keir Starmer, Labour are basically not electable, and the Tories really shouldn't be elected. So we got a problem. Somebody was saying, who was it? Someone was saying, suggesting how long before Sadiq Khan makes his bed. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. See, the thing about all politicians is that they all, if you're not the leader, they want to be the leader. So they all hate the leader. That's just how it works in British politics anyway. So that's the English scenario. It hasn't been a good result for the Conservatives. They'll sweep it under the carpet. Boris will talk some more about, I'm a wartime leader. Please, I'm fighting in the front line with President Zelensky. Please give me a break. I'm not sure about that. We'll see how his party responds. But I'll tell you what, there's 320 plus very miffed off ex-Conservative councillors tonight who've lost their job, and that's a lot of people to lose their job. And I wonder what they'll think of Boris Johnson. And I wonder what those Conservative MPs in those areas might be thinking about their jobs come the next general election. So that's a position Boris will be off to Kyiv. He's probably going to be hiding at the Avestal Steelworks. But we better not talk about that on some of these platforms because we could get in trouble. If you want to hear my thoughts about the Azovstal Steelworks, there's a podcast going out on that today in which I talk about what I think is happening there. And that's separate, off topic. So let's move. Let us now on a grand tour of the UK. Let's go from England, if we can, to, let's see if we can do Scotland. So if we can do Scotland, here we go, north of the border to Scotland. And as you can see, it's another wipeout for the Conservatives. They've lost 63 councillors. The big winners, the SNP, who've gained 22. Labour have gained 20. Independents have lost. And Liberal Democrats have won. So you can see, actually, it's not... yes, Leslie, by the way, great comment. Leslie says, as Lena says, plenty of people have lost their jobs because of them. Absolutely. I feel no pity for them at all. None. Merciless. But back to these numbers. So, and this is what I wanted to say. In Scotland, the SNP, the National Socialists and the SNP have continued to consolidate their overwhelming majority. And you can see the Conservatives are down the tubes. I mean, they have half the councillors of the SNP and fewer even than Labour. So again, it doesn't matter whether you go, or we're going to have a look at the councils actually, whether you go to England or Scotland, it's just bad for the Tories. In Scotland, let's see here, independents actually control 3 councils. Remarkable. The SNP, they've gained one council and 22 councillors. Labour have gained 1 council and 20 councillors. The Tories haven't gained anything and lost 63 councillors. Lib Dems haven't gained anything but gained 20 councillors. And Green, the absolutely echo loons, the crazies, they've gained 16 councillors in Scotland. Is there something in the Scottish water? I would like to know. I don't know, is the water coming out of Loch Ness, has that been poisoned by uranium or something that makes these Scottish people vote in such a strange way? I don't know. But yeah, Jason makes a very good point here that the Conservatives at local council election distance themselves from the National Party. In fact, they put out their leaflets in green, didn't they, to try and pretend we're nothing to do with Boris Johnson. Don't blame us. John says the SNP have made a mess of Scotland. Of course they have, John. It's horrendous what's happening in Scotland. And thank you for the kind comments. But, for me, and I don't know how you guys feel in this one, I'm a big fan. I've got so many Scottish friends. I love Scotland, but I despise the SNP. And honestly, if Scots are going to continue to vote for SNP, then have your independence referendum, or maybe better still, don't have your independence referendum. Let England have an independence referendum, and England can leave the UK. And let's see what happens to Cranky Land then, along with Northern Ireland and along with Wales. Why don't we do that then? How about that? Should we do that? England decides to leave the UK. Where would all the money come for all Nicola Sturgeon's freebies? Hi, Craig Roberts, by the way. Good to see you here, my friend. And Andy Bell is right in observing that the local Conservatives didn't distance themselves far enough from the Boris Johnson administration. So Scotland's a bit of a mess. I wonder, can we then turn to Wales? Honestly, there's obviously been the Welsh elections going along, local council elections too. And so let's finish our quick journey around the UK to see what's happened there. The Tories have lost another 67 seats. Labour have picked up 63, and Plaid Cymru, the Party of Wales, have gained 5. So you can see there, it's pretty clear. Another really, really bad result for the Conservatives. So whether you're looking in Scotland, and then on the councils, Labour have won 2 more councils. Plaid have won actually 3. So yeah, that's amazing. Independents have lost a few, and the Tories have lost a council. So that's it. And the Liberal, all those additional councillors for the Liberal Democrats and the Greens doesn't really result. It doesn't mean they get councils. Ricky says there needs to be mandatory IQ tests before people are allowed to vote. My theory, Ricky, on that is that many of the people voting today are the same sort of people who wear masks going out to the shops. That's my theory on them. I think these people have. Oh, hi, Stu. Thank you very much for the super chat. And thank you so much for all your support. And indeed, everybody in the stream, by the way. I appreciate that there. Thank you so much. So it's been a bad result across Great Britain for the Conservatives. The Labour have had modest wins. And then the protest parties, the Liberal Democrats, and the Greens have had reasonably decent results. So, yeah, that's how it is. So, there we go. Chris Davies says, Mark Drakeford has all the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk. Well, he does. Mark Drakeford, the First Minister of Wales, is the sort of chap who lights up a room simply by leaving it. So that's the sort of guy Mark Drakeford is. Zero personality. I do intend to bring my friends on from the Voice of Wales. I need to bring them on and do a stream with them. And we're going to talk about what the heck's going on in Wales. Again, is it something in the water? Or is it something else? Not maybe in the water. But anyway, don't talk about that, David. You're going to get yourself in trouble on the YouTubes and the Facebooks if you talk about certain things. Yeah, Jason says, I don't know, Mark Drakeford was partying away during lockdown. Yeah, they all were. They all were party. But you plebs, stay indoors. Don't go out. Do not mix. Let granny die alone. Remember all that stuff? Yeah. That's the sort of people that you've been out, that so many millions of people have chosen to vote for, by the way. So that's a bit sad, actually, on that note, on a more serious note. Okay, so now I want to turn to my home turf. Now, before we get into the Northern Ireland results, I have to declare a couple of things. In a moment of madness, in fact, 2 moments of madness, I actually stood in 2 assembly elections. I stood back in, I think it was 1998, for the UK Unionist Party, which was kind of like a UKIP, but like a Northern Irish version of it. And it was led by Robert McCartney, QC, who was a really good guy. And Bob and I got on really well. The party did actually quite well. It got about 5 or 6, I think. Yeah, 5 or 6, I think it was 5 MLAs elected. I was not one of them, but I hung around and it was okay. But I decided I don't like party politics and it's not for me. So that was then. And then 10 years later, having said, or no, in 2001, I walked away. That's it. I'm out. And then I was invited back by Jim Allister's Traditional Unionist Voice Party. And I stood for them as well. This time in East Belfast, actually. Again, what was I thinking? But the fact is, Jim Allister, QC as well, is a really good guy, and I like Jim. And back then, the TUV was very, very embryonic, very young, and things have changed a lot, as we're going to go on to talk about in a second. So things have been. So I have stood in elections, so I know what how a lot of people feel tonight. There will be people who were hopeful, who haven't been elected, who haven't performed well, or for whatever reason, and there'll be people who have done very well. So, I've walked in your shoes. I know what it's like. My problem is I don't want to belong to any club that would have me. I'm such an awkward, contrarian soul that I prefer my massive independence. I prefer this than being a member of any political party. So I'm not party line. Stu says it's strange being on YouTube. Yeah. Well, just for lols, we've decided to go on the YouTubes and the Facebooks, even just for lols. So anyway, that brings us to the Northern Ireland results. Now, whereas England and Scotland and Wales were having council elections, Northern Ireland were having assembly elections to the so-called Northern Ireland Parliament at Stormont. David says, I'm sure you'd hold your own in a viper's nest. Yeah, I mean, I did, Chris, to be honest. It's just that the one thing I discovered, and this might seem unkind, but probably true. In politics, you find that your enemies are not your political opponents. They're not. They're the people in your own party. Thanks, Leslina. Looks like I'm going to win the vote here on the YouTubes and the Facebooks anyway. So, let's see how long we last. Oh, YouTube, you see. But Jason O'Brien, what you don't understand, my friend, is that I'm very tactical what we talk about. I don't think YouTube can take me down for discussing the current election, can they? It's only if I'm ever so naughty and talk about the things that go in your arm, or talk about the stuff that's going on in Ukraine and certain things like that, where they might get a bit angry at me. Maybe, I don't know, but we're not talking about that anyway. So having said all that, right? That was so. Northern Ireland is having assembly elections today, and I followed them with great interest because I've stood in those in the counting halls. I know all of the stuff that goes on, right? So let's bring up where we are in Northern Ireland, hopefully. And well, as I said, these are sort of those who have been elected thus to date on first preference votes. And we have Sinn Féin IRA with 16, DUP in 4, the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland, the Lib Dems of Northern Ireland in 4, Ulster Unionists in 3, and the Poor Sad SDLP in 1. Now, I don't know what additional feed. Well, okay, let's look at this. This is actually significant. So as you can see, Sinn Féin, the party that wants Irish unity and wants Northern Ireland out of the UK, they topped the poll, 29% of the first preference vote, and then and their vote slightly up in 2017. So that's a decent performance. You've got the Chris Davey says the donor box link is not available on YouTube, and I'm struggling to find it. Jed, help out Chris Davies there. Donor box, not to be confused with donor kebab, is I think it should be, Chris. I'm sure if it's there, Jed is the very man to work out how you can get to it. But back to what I was saying. So Sinn Féin did really well. Democratic Unionists, look at that. their first preference vote has gone back. So that's really substantial. And then the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland, which are the so-called leftists, but they're not, or centrist party, but they're not centrist. They're toxic. They're poison. But they're the media party. The media love them. Oh gosh, doesn't the media love them? Well, they have again picked up a lot of votes. I'm sure because the media gives them nothing but positive coverage. And then if you scroll down, the two old parties, the Ulster Unionists, their first preference votes gone back. And the SDLP, which was formerly led by John Hume, also gone back even more. And then finally, my old party, the TUV, have actually shown the biggest growth of all in first preference votes, with about 65,000 first preference votes. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, because I need to say this, I want to congratulate Jim Allister. I want to also congratulate, because he's as I speak, he will hopefully have been elected. I want to also congratulate my friend down in Strangford, Stephen Cooper, a guy who I've known for since my time with the UK Unionist Party, and Stephen, I think, is also certain to get elected in Strangford. So that's two friends, and they've been elected. And there's a possibility, I think, that there may be one other, at least, TUV guy elected. So that's just at a personal level, it's nice when people that you know and that you like do well. And so hats off to the guys. Now, of course, I've got my own views on things, and they don't necessarily synchronize with TV or any of these other parties. Guys, I've been saying this for 2 years. My interests lie about. We're gonna dive back into some of the local stuff here in a sec, but freedom matters to me more than tribal politics. The ability to live your life without the coercion of mandatory jobs and stuff, that matters more to me than party politics. And the sickening hypocrisy as well, and I'm sure this you're bound to have heard this for the past several weeks. Politicians saying, "Oh, it's the cost of living crisis. We've got to help people with the cost of living crisis." Well, if you want to help people with the cost of living crisis, well, the Tories are putting up taxes as a result of sanctions on Russia. Food prices are rising, interest rates are rising. So yeah, you're kind of causing the cost of living crisis. You politicians, you're causing it. And then you're saying, oh, we have to do something about it. No, you don't. You're just saying that to get the gullible to buy you, to support you, and then you're gone for 5 years. This is a 5-year con job. I've got big issues with elections. Actually, I have big issues. I've been honest about this. I keep saying, what is the point? If elections changed anything, do you really think that they would let you vote? Do you really think that? Now, yeah, I know around the edges you could argue, well, no, they do matter. People have fought and died for us to vote. Well, yes, I understand that, but I think the actual system is fundamentally crooked. But back to Northern Ireland, because I want to talk about this. So we have anyway the likelihood of the biggest party in Stormont being Sinn Féin, which, as has been pointed out, for years inextricably linked with the IRA. They're going to be the biggest party. The Democratic Unionist Party, which is going to be the biggest unionist party, have said they will not go back into the executive with Sinn Féin, who will be First Minister, unless the Northern Irish sea border, the whole thing that Boris Johnson done to separate us from the rest of the UK, is resolved. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't think that Boris Johnson has any intention of resolving it. None. So I think, there's got the Great Northern Ireland Assembly is going to topple over probably next week. They have a couple of, I think they have a week or so to nominate First Minister, and you cannot nominate the First Minister unless you've also nominated the Deputy First Minister. And the DUP say they won't nominate, therefore nothing happens. And some people are very angry about this. They're saying, no, DUP, you can't hold up Sinn Féin. But for 3 or 4 years, Sinn Féin were very happy to hold up everything. I just take a view, a plague on all their houses, a plague on all their houses. None of this is going to help ordinary people. But again, I look at, there's a couple of guys we've had on streams here with me over the past month. We had a guy called Patrick Hockey, who I interviewed, who was standing as an independent in Mid-Ulster, I think it was. And Patrick's very concerned about the whole issue of dumping depleted uranium and stuff like that in some of the most scenic spots of Northern Ireland, which he believes is underway. Well, he did actually reasonably well. I think he got about 800 or 900 votes, which is very, relatively speaking, for an independent, very good. We also had Tony Mallon, a guy standing in the heart of Irish Republic in West Belfast on non-tribal politics. I think he had a tougher time, but I also wanted to give him a shout out and say, well done for actually trying to make a stand. It's very difficult if you're an individual and you're fighting party machines. That is really, really hard, probably impossible. So Stu says, cost of living equals no economy for the past 2 years. Yeah, cost of living crisis equals wrecking of the economy. Boris Johnson came in like a wrecking ball. Yes, I am channeling my inner, was it Miley Cyrus? Didn't she do that? I came in like a wrecking ball. Boris came in like a wrecking ball with his COVID restrictions, and he wrecked the economy. And now, of course, he's giving bazillions of pounds to the great noble President Zelensky. Oh, yeah. Screwing up the UK economy. Exactly. They're not interested in you. This is what I keep saying. Politicians are not interested in you. They're interested in themselves. They're very, very interested in themselves, and they're interested in their career. Jim Mooney says, we need people like Pat and Tony taking seats. Yeah, Jim, absolutely. And I was, I respect those guys because they stood against the machine. And I suppose, if I'm anywhere, I'm kind of against the machine. Yeah, Jason says inflation robs the poor. It does. It also robs the pensioners. If you're in a fixed income and inflation is going to be 10%, and your pension, for example, your pension isn't inflation linked, you're going to be 10% worse off. And that's why you see Chris Davey says, thanks, by the way, Chris, read the monthly donation. The pensioner age group, pensioners are pretty conservative minded with a small c, and indeed they're a key conservative demographic. But if you say to the conservatives or to these pensioners, oh, by the way, we're not linking your pension to inflation, so essentially you're going to be 10% worse off. Then, sorry, just trying to read things here, reading multiple things, multitasking. Then you're pissing off all your pensioners. So you're gonna, yeah, Donny girl, you're right. You see, whether it's England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, US, these idiots, they are screwing us, all of them. They are predator. They are the predator class, and we are the prey. It's just many of us don't realize we are the prey. And like, I don't know, Leslie says David Curtin from the Heritage. I know David Curtin. I've spoken with David several times. Yeah, David's a good guy. Thing is, Leslina, it's hard to break through if you're a small party. I haven't seen all the information from England for the really small parties, like the Reform Party and stuff. But it's really difficult to break through. Chris Davey says Ronald Reagan said it. Inflation is like a mugger. Yes, it is indeed. Like so many other things Ronald Reagan said, he said it right. But yes, Ricky says, little do they know all their pensions have been stolen. Absolutely. Jason says, I shook hands with David Curtin. Yes, David Curtin. He's been on my stream, actually, Jason. I should bring David back, actually. He's a good guy. There's lots of good guys. Anne-Marie Waters, she's a good person as well. Of course, Tommy Robinson has joined her party, but we're not allowed to talk about his name even on this platform. But anyway, there are smaller parties. I'm not sure how they've all performed. I haven't got all that information to hand. The other thing, of course, that I wanted to talk about is that, when you come to elections, although we've been talking mostly about councils, but in an assembly election, you have, in this case, MLAs, members of the Legislative Assembly, and they're standing to get back in. But it looks like we have a couple of them could be casualties, including one of whom was, oh, hi to my friend, GG Law 42. Benjamin Franklin said, there are only two things certain in life, death and taxes. Yeah, well, I agree with that, actually. Yeah. And actually, when I look at people like Hillary Clinton, I'm not even sure the death is certain. Something seems to be keeping her going. I mean, have you seen images of her recently? And Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden living or dead? I'm not sure. It's undecided, zombie, living, dead. Not sure. But you know what I'm saying. It is really, really tough for these people who have ministerial position and they're booted out by the politicians today. And that seems to be happening to potentially one person anyway, and there may be more than one. Nicola Mallon of the SDLP, who I think was the transport secretary and our minister, and she looks to have lost her seat. How do I feel about that? Good. That's how I feel about that. I'm sick of these people, and that's what I wanted to say at the start of this here. All I've listened to is mainstream media coverage here in Northern Ireland with the same claptrap coming out of the same people, all these same people coming out saying the same predictable things. What a bore. What a bore. Yes, Richie, old Romy Tobinson, such a good guy. Good old Romy. So you're going to find that, as we go into the wee hours of tonight, you're going to find certain political leaders are going to be coming under major pressure to probably step down. And I think, when I look at some of the campaigns that were run, I understand that. Some of them were miserable, some of them, it's almost like the very essence of traditional conservatism is being destroyed. Andy Bell says, wasn't it George Washington who said a centralized bank is as dangerous to the people as an enemy standing army? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, you're really quoting all the great guys here with George Washington. Chris says, David, how long will the Tories stay loyal to Boris? Well, this is the interesting question. They've just lost 320 of their comrades in councils. There's going to be some mighty miffed MPs. Now, I think the plan will be, let's talk about Ukraine. What about cost of living? Shh. Let's not talk about it. That's going to be the Conservative plan, I think, to try and save Boris. Will they get away with it? I don't know. Jason's right. The economic system we have is corrupt, just like the financial system is corrupt and the political system is corrupt. I oppose it all. Leslina says the usual suspects full of their own self-importance. They absolutely are. In fact, that was one of the things that I remember most about my time in politics was when you saw how being elected affected some people. And I've put this in my book. I mean, I did write a book, about my time in politics. If anyone fancies a read and wants to read a political book where all the chapters have got pop songs floating around in the titles or whatever, I wrote a book called Unionism Decayed. It's on the Amazons. You can buy it there if you want, and you can read my crazy thoughts from published in 2008. I published a book on it. And the thing is, in that, one of the things I recall was how people were so easily turned. Their heads were turned by power. Donegal says, one question, are Tories and Labour like our Democrats? Well, the Labour are the same as your Democrats, and the Tories pretend to be like Republicans, but they're also the same as your Democrats, right? They're rhinos. Maybe that's the best way of putting it. Jason says, I need pictures to read a book. Unfortunately, I've got no pictures in my book, no photographs either, but just chapter after chapter of me taking the merciless you-know-what of the establishment. Yeah, look it up. Unionism Decayed on, I don't know if we can bring it up actually on the screen. If Jed is able to do a quick Google on it. We should actually bring it up. It actually sums up my whole political journey from start to finish. But actually, then I came back. I reincarnated. So let me see if we can. Is there a way I can get you this one here? So unionism decayed, as in the decay. Let's see. Is it possible? Let me see if I can show you this, folks. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Unionism Decayed, David Vance. Ooh. Right. How do I put this on the screen? Oh, yeah, there it is. It's on the screen. Jed's faster than me. Look at that. Fast. 1997 to 2007, a political odyssey. A political odyssey when the young David sauntered into politics by accident and then left it, absolutely disgusted at the whole thing. You can read all about it then. But yeah, as you can see from the the title page, you will note that there's a big picture of Stormont, and in the background, yes, a masked person. Oh my goodness, David, what were you implying? Well, if you read the book, you'll find out. But and not much has changed really, apart from the fact that the people in the balaclavas have become more and more popular, and people like me are Nazis, and worse than that there. So yeah, so there's a book. If you want to boost my royalties, check out your copy of Unionism Decayed. Hopefully there's a few laughs in it as well. Chris Davies says, don't tell me you don't know what love is when you're old enough to know better. Yes, and Chris and Davids, when you find strange hands in your sweater, indeed when your dream boat turns out to be a footnote, and politics did turn out to be sort of a footnote for me, but I've kept going with it, haven't I? In this way of criticizing it all the time. People say, can't you be more constructive? Well, I am constructive. I really am. What I'm saying is, I don't like the system. I don't like the vested interests. I don't like the way the media industrial complex promotes certain parties and runs down other parties. It doesn't give independents a chance. I don't like any of that. No, I don't. Why should I? Why should I say, oh yeah, well, it's not good, but it's what we have. It's not good enough. No, I've got higher standards than that there. As I've explained on the live stream we did last night, I'm dark MAGA. I'm ultra MAGA. Do any of you know? I'm sure you know what that is by now because I explained it last night. Yeah. And I guess I'm a British version of that. Ultra MAGA. In fact, actually, Jed, I don't know if you can bring out my Gettr stream, but I think just before we came on stream, I actually pushed out. I think it's a meme, but it's on my Gettr platform because there's nothing better to annoy leftards than to push out memes that drive them crazy. So on my Gettr, I think at the top of the page, yeah, this is good. I like this one. Yeah, as you can see, there you go. MAGA. That was 2016. MAGA. 2022. You can see we have evolved. We have evolved in the MAGA sphere, and we are taking no nonsense from any of them. So yeah. So MAGA is getting stronger, and this actually is. You guys need it in the States. We need it in the UK as well. We need that level of tough, uncompromising politics. Jock Griffin says, who is this dolt? Hi, Jock. Jock, let's put it up on the screen. Jock, are you referring to me as a dolt? Are you? I'm dolt? Jock, I'd like to know who you are. Would you like to kind of tell us who you are? Because you sound like the sort of very, very switched on guy. Maybe you should tell us. I'm a mega MAGA. I'm an ultra MAGA. I'm a dark MAGA. Imagine that. All right. So here's a technical question coming up. This one is for you, Jed. Stu says, David, regarding Podbean, your stream will not play on my tablet. Have missed the last three even. Don't know about that. Don't know why that might be, Stu, but Jed's the man to maybe explain that or whatever. Jason says he met someone in Northern Ireland who said, can I just point out that comment by Better Tablet? I did not type that tablet. That was Russians. That was, look at that, is Putin. Putin is actually taking, look, both my hands are here and yet I'm typing. How is this possible? It's Russians. It's Russian misinformation and we have to fight back. What's this? One love. Jock says one love, one world, one republic. Yeah, one love, one world, one republic. And with the Irish flag. Very good. Yeah. Well, of course, look, I mean, you want to joke, you want to talk about Irish sort of unity and stuff like that. I mean, I have friends such as Gemma O'Doherty, proud Irish patriot, who, of course, has been given nothing but dogs abuse by the Irish establishment for the past couple of years. Maybe you need to take up some of your issues with someone like Gemma rather than someone like me. I don't pretend to want Irish unity. But then again, of course, you know, I have issues with the British government as well. But yeah, we do need a MAGA in the UK. Will we get one? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get something here. Or will people just settle for more of the same, more of the low quality, low IQ, Machiavellian politics? I don't know. I don't know. Leslina, it could be Naughty Jed doing the typing. I don't know. I should maybe have my hands like this, should I? But that would suggest hands up. I'm under attack, to paraphrase ABBA. I am under attack. But yeah, so so Jed's suggestion to Jason is, yeah, get a better tablet. It was me. He's confessed. Okay, quick. Is that Vladimir Putin? Yeah. Sorry. When I said you were messing, I didn't mean that. No. It was my producer, Jed. Yeah. So please don't be firing any Satan II missiles at me, please. I want to live. So yeah, it is. It was so the thing is that we deserve better than what we get. Maybe that's the thing. Jason, I'm surprised that wouldn't at all be surprised if the Conservatives or some of their shills in the media say it was Putin. It was Putin that made them lose all those 320 council seats. Just like I noticed, did you see the British media saying it's Putin? Putin has a dastardly plan to bring down the NHS. How is that possible? How can you make the NHS worse than it is? That's not possible. The Daily Mail was fetishizing about the fact that, oh, look, whoops, what is this? What have we got here? Meet Dark MAGA. Oh, right. That was a stream I did about it. Yeah, if you haven't seen that or listened to that one, Meet Dark MAGA. As you can tell, I embrace all these things, you know, and then people say, oh, you're a lunatic. No, I'm not. I'm just one of the tougher people around in the UK, quite honestly. I'm not the only one. There's others. But someone says, no, that's your mate, Aaron Banks. Oh, Jock, Aaron Banks is not my mate. Didn't you know that? Chris is telling us, Professor Brigadier Julia Hartley Brewer, the siren of talk radio, or is it talk TV? She's going to be all over Jed Zelensky on Monday. General Zelensky, President Zelensky of the Ukraine. But we're not going in there because, of course, if we talk anything about that may be truthful, it could get us a ban on the YouTubes. So they can't blame Orange Man, so they blame Vladman. Vladman bad. Isn't that what it is? I think that's how it works. Vladman bad. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who we've got in the UK who would do the job. Quite honestly, if you look around, I see nobody in the Conservative Party, no one in the Labour Party. The Lib Dems are a joke. Greens are farcical. When you look at people like Lawrence Fox, maybe if you look at someone like Anne-Marie Waters, yes, you know her party, the For Britain party, a good party, and I have lots of friends in that party. And as you know, I actually host, or have been lucky enough to be hosting their annual conference for the past 3 years. Well, actually, Jock Griffin. Hey, Jock Griffin, here's something which is interesting. Jock says, what about Jeremy Corbyn? Well, you know, Jock, here's the interesting thing. going back to the GB elections today, Labour did better outside of London under Jeremy Corbyn than they did under Sir Keir Starmer. Isn't that interesting? So even though the media, and they did attack Jeremy Corbyn, and all of that, it turns out that actually he was more popular with Labour voters outside of the metropolitan elitists at the conference. Stu says, we spoke at the last conference, Stu. Yes, and I was delighted with all the great people that I met back then during my hosting of the conference. I hope that went down okay, Stu, my idiosyncratic way of hosting things, but I think Jock. So, we know that Jeremy Corbyn was more popular. Listen, I have no time for Keir Starmer. I think he's a loser. I think he's a serial loser. We've got a special video treat for you to play when I get finished this. Not just yet. We've got a wee bit more to go. Let me bring the comments back up. Jock, I kind of agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've got lots of issues with Jeremy Corbyn, but I've probably got more issues with Keir Starmer. Oh my God, that makes you a communist Marxist. No, it doesn't. It just means that I just can't stand Keir Starmer. I can't stand him. And Andy Bell says, Piers Corbyn, who's Jeremy Corbyn's brother, is a man who, despite being a bit of a loon, speaks much wisdom occasionally. You're right, But if you were looking at Donald Trump figure here in the UK, tell me who you think on the stream. Who do you think that should be? Do you think we have one? Someone who has that personality, that projection. Who could that be? I've got to admit, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. There's good guys. David Curtin's been mentioned. Anne-Marie Waters has been mentioned. Nina says, "Get out of my pub." It is. Anne-Marie Waters. Well, yeah. I mean, Anne-Marie's an excellent person. She really is. Every time I've done streams with her. She's come on the podcast channel, and she's always good fun to talk to. And I always find myself in agreement with her. She's demonized. William Cluston, that's of the SDP, Chris, isn't it? I know a lot of these guys. Robin Tilbrook, not to be confused with Chris Tilbrook of Squeeze. Robin Tilbrook of the English Democrats, another good guy. Reading your comments here. Jim Davidson, Rory Stewart. No, I don't think so. No. Jim Davidson. Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's your opinion. It's fine. It's valid. It's as valid as mine. I can't think of anyone. I really can't think of anyone. We just don't seem to have that. And that worries me because it should, because it's just not there. But some of the names, Lawrence Fox, Loza's fine. Is he that inspirational figure? I don't know. Plus, the British media is out to do him down. Guys like, even actually, Jock, going back to Jeremy Corbyn, the media turns against anyone who might change anything. And I guess Jared Batten's a great guy. I really like Jared Batten, by the way. Jock's talking about Steve Baker. I know. Yeah, Steve. I mean, thing is, Jock, I think the Tories are in major, major trouble. I really do. I think they shot their bolt in 2019. That was a high water mark. And, and maybe in politics, here's another rule of politics. Sometimes people just get sick of it and they say, oh, well, let's just change the bloody thing. Let's change the record, And Jock, that is what might happen. I see your views on Lawrence Fox. Not sure about that. Steve Baker, Ricky says, is WEF owned and controlled. The thing is, Ricky, who isn't EAF controlled? Who isn't? That's the problem. So he stood by the treasonous Brexit surrender treaty. I see Chris says, for all Boris's faults, he still box office at the ballot box. Well, that didn't happen today, though, did it, Chris? And you're going to say, yeah, but these were local elections and nothing to do with Boris. And you might be right, but I don't know. Jared Batten, by the way, I get on great with Jared. I need to bring him on the stream here and have a chat with him. He's, as you know, former leader of the UK Independence Party. and a really good guy. And it would be, I have spoken with Jared on several occasions, and find him, John Gleeson, to be one of the good people around. And I suppose, like in politics, the way it works is that there's people that you sort of, or you can relate to, and that you like, and there's people that you don't. And in my experience, I don't like most people in politics. Now that's okay, because they'll say, "Well, we don't like you," and that's okay as well by me. But I'm not playing their game. I just find that when I look around the UK and I look at these results, and as I said, not everything is out. But when it all becomes clear, it will be. David said, Chris says, "Can you not bring Peter on the live stream?" Yes, I should. I mean, there's so much, Chris, I should do. With my friend Peter McElvenna of Hearts of Oak. I mean, he normally chats to me, but quite honestly, Peter and I are on the same page on just about everything, I think. And as a fellow Northern Irishman, it would be good to have him. Stu says, "I doesn't think Gerard would want the job." No, I think he's kind of bowed out. I think he said he's done his piece, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And as I say, I'm lucky to know, I guess, some of what I think are the best people in politics. Alexander Cameron is another one, says, "David for Prime Minister, why not?" Well, if I was Prime Minister, Alexander, there would be some mighty changes. First thing to go, by the way, would be the parliamentary first past the post system. Got no time for it at all. Don't like our system. So why mention Lawrence Fox? How could he negotiate with Euro heavyweights, have Philly lawyers, and Trevelyan? Well, actually, Joe, to be honest, I don't really know Lawrence that well, but all I know is that some people like him, and I don't know him, so I don't, it's very hard to comment about people you don't know. Chris Davies makes the best comment of the night. Sir David Vance, it's got a certain cachet to it. And I only can hope that the royals, maybe the Queen in her platinum year, will be moved by my contribution to the political discussion and bestow that much needed knighthood. I mean, if Elvis Costello could take an OBE, I can take a knighthood. That's the way I feel about it anyway. So listen, folks, we've gone through the hour, as always, goes by very quickly. I appreciate all your comments. Thanks for being here on the stream. Don't forget, if you want to buy me a coffee, there is a link below. If you want to use the old donor box, there is a link below as well. So there are those options to support us and all the stuff we do, if you'd like to do that. And I think I'm going to wish you all a good evening, a good Friday night evening. And we're going to play you a video which our producer Jed has found. And we'll play out after that's over. But so what do you think is going on here? Comment below. Right. What do you think is going on here? Comment. Okay, over to Jed. He's now got control of all of this. Thank you guys very much. Speak with you all soon. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all your support. And catch you soon. Palais.